Very happy New Year 2021 in advance to everyone out there from my side. I, Abhishek Srivastava, would like to speak and discuss on a topic or on a word which is very much in headlines these days, especially from the political squares, but not only from there, but also from the society at large. And that word is nationalism. So I would like to speak on the topic revisiting nationalism before advancing to the new year. So friends, nationalism is a kind of word which is not as simple as any other word. It can't be described through a single click in a Merriam-Webster dictionary. So it has a very strange and peculiar feature that it has very different connotations for different sets of people. And that's why what is nationalism for me may be different for you. But according to me, nationalism is something of feeling of belongingness and doing every bit for the nation and more especially for its people. Hence, if you look through my lens, then you would find that nationalism is much more of its people or of its Indians, not of India. So before we advance to this new year 2021, I would like to revisit some of the key challenges according to the World Economic Forum which India 2020 faces. Number one, education and skills. See, India's primary education system reflects a very sorry state of affairs when we look upon the public sector. And when it comes to the private sector, it holds some good performance, but it's financially unreachable and inaccessible to millions of students out there. When we look on the public funded schools, what we find is that they have a lack of infrastructure, lack of good quality fine teachers and good governance, which makes these institutions as only food serving outlets through the midday meal scheme. And when it comes to the private funded schools, what we witness is that they are focusing a lot on the infrastructure but not good quality education. So what they have become are like some malls, and they are financially unreachable to many of them, many of the students here. And when we come up to the India's higher education system, what we find that it is facing a very acute challenge, that is 20% less gross enrollment ratio when we compare our country to the countries like China, Brazil, or some of the other middle income countries. Now, more importantly, what the problem is with our education system is that the educational attainment in India does not get itself translated into an employment opportunity. Some authorities have done the study in 2013 and found that 46% of the university graduates did end up with no jobs. And that's where the problem is, because we as Indians boast of a huge youth bulge. So if we boast of it, we should be aware that it should not become a burden on the nation by just adding to the unemployed. Second challenge is of urbanization. See, it is a process full of myths and ironies, as was simply exemplified by the exodus of migrant workers during lockdown. What we have seen was highly unhuman. So if you see that this whole race to urbanization is a mirage, and it should be led by balanced rural-urban development. Here is where we should be reminded of Gandhiji's words, who said that Panchayati Raj institutions at the village level must be empowered, because real India still lives in villages but not in the metro cities, and that's true in today's world also. Third key challenge is gender equality. See, this is the thing, or this is a challenge which needs utmost urgency not only from the political squares but also from the society at large. And this highly unequal society needs to be very much equal for women, for our girls, because when we see nation's development, then we don't only view our men's development but also the women empowerment. And I'm not going to dive into some official figures, stats, or numbers game, but we'll talk only on the fundamental issues which needs to be resolved at the household level. Our girls and women needs to be allowed to wear what they want, to wear what they are comfortable with. They need to be allowed to ask for a hot water bottle during their periods openly, without any shame. They need to be allowed to talk, walk, sit or stand in the way they want. They need not to be said that ऐसे मत करो तुम लड़की हो. And these are the very simple methods but are very fundamental for the betterment of our women. And see, gender equality is not only about women empowerment. Most often we do not talk of a section which is having or facing a lot of discrimination, and that is the LGBTQ community. Officially, very sadistically, we have numbered them only in 2014, and authorities found that there are 5 lakh people belonging to this community in 2014, that too officially. So you can guess that numbers would be very much high. So this LGBTQ community fundamentally needs to be accepted in our minds with our open heart, that yes, if we talk of gender, then there is much more than male and female. See, there are so many key challenges like these if I talk about, but still what we as a society are concerned with, we are more concerned with Riya Chakravarti Sushant Singh Rajput case, we are more concerned with Mandir Masjid case, we are more concerned with what is more popular these days, love jihad. So it's better to be not concerned about these fake issues but the real issues. You will get the real substance here. Some more key challenges, to name a few in just headlines. Number 1, that India needs to fix its sanitation workers' death, which occurs 4 to 5 daily. Second, India needs to fix its mismanaged flood management system. Third, India needs to fix and revamp its weak health infrastructure, which was highlighted during this pandemic. See, COVID-19 has affected India along with the world. So, if you see our health infrastructure, it needs to be revamped. Now, I'm getting to remember Alan Murray's words. He says that in a democracy, people must not be afraid of the governments, but governments must be afraid of the people. So with these words of Alan Murray, I would like to conclude while saying something in Hindi, that सरकारें देश से होती हैं और देश सरकार से नहीं होता. तो अगर आप या मैं सवाल करते हैं सरकार से, तो हम सवाल देश से नहीं करते. इसलिए हम सरकार के विरोध में हो सकते हैं, देश के विरोध में नहीं हो सकते. So it is better to keep a watch on our political leaders, to keep a watch around in our society, and be aware of this thing, that we do not need to waste our time thinking and deciding who is more of a nationalist and who is less of a nationalist, or who is more of an anti-national. Rather, we need to fix these all issues and challenges, and then only we can be called विश्व गुरु भारत. धन्यवाद. नमस्कार आप सभी को, मैं अभिषेक और ये मेरा YouTube चैनल. इसको लाइक करें, शेयर करें, सब्सक्राइब करें और हर वो इश्यूज़ पे वीडियो देखें पूरी तरीके से जो ज़रूरी में हमारे लिए मैटर करते हैं. और कमेंट बॉक्स पर ज़रूर अपने सजेशन दें, और कोई इशू पे अगर आप चाहते हैं कि मैं वीडियो बनाऊं तो वो भी डालें. थैंक यू.